Park Tae-sung wiped the grease from his hands and looked at the old engine he had been fixing for the past 6 hours. It was a simple job, but he liked simple jobs. They kept his mind busy and his hands moving. The Lunar Salvage Station 7 was not an exciting place to work. It sat on the dark side of the moon, far from Earth and far from anything interesting. Most days, Tae-sung fixed broken machines, sorted through space junk, and ate his meals alone. He was good at his job. Everyone said so. But being good at fixing things on a forgotten moon station did not make anyone famous. It did not make anyone rich. It just made the days pass a little faster. Tae-sung put his tools back in their box and stretched his arms. His back was sore. He needed sleep, but he also needed food. He decided food came first. The station was small. It had a repair bay, a control room, sleeping quarters, and a kitchen that always smelled like recycled air. Only 5 people worked there. Tae-sung knew them all, but he did not talk to them much. He preferred machines. Machines were honest. They broke, you fixed them, and they worked again. People were more complicated. He was walking toward the kitchen when the alarm started. The sound was loud and sharp. Red lights flashed in the hallway. Tae-sung stopped and listened. This was not a drill. He had heard drills before and they felt different. This alarm felt real. He ran to the control room. Kim Yuna was already there, sitting at her station with her eyes on the screens. She was the communications officer, and she was very good at staying calm when things went wrong. "What is it?" Tae-sung asked. "Something is falling," Yuna said. She pointed at her screen. "Big, very big. It's coming down about 3 kilometers east of us." "A meteor?" "No." Yuna shook her head. "It's a ship." Station Chief Han Ji-won came into the room. He was an older man with gray hair and a face that always looked worried. Right now, he looked more worried than usual. "Is it human?" he asked. "No," Yuna said. "The signal is not in any human language. I don't recognize it." Ji-won cursed under his breath. "Alien. That's the last thing we need." They watched the screen as the ship fell. It was not crashing wildly. It was trying to land, but something was wrong. Fire trailed behind it. Pieces broke off and burned in the thin lunar atmosphere. Then it hit the ground. The impact sent up a cloud of dust and rock. For a moment, no one spoke. "We should stay here," Ji-won said. "We don't know what's on that ship. We don't know if they're friendly." "They might need help," Tae-sung said, "or they might kill us." Tae-sung looked at the screen. The ship was damaged badly. Smoke rose from its hull. If anyone was alive inside, they would not survive long without help. "I'll go," he said. Ji-won stared at him. "Are you crazy?" "Maybe, but I'm also the only one here who can drive the rover in the dark." It was true. The dark side of the moon was difficult to navigate. There were no lights, only shadows and rocks. Tae-sung had driven the rover many times to collect salvage. He knew the terrain. Ji-won did not look happy, but he did not stop him. Tae-sung suited up and climbed into the rover. The vehicle was old, but reliable. He had fixed it himself many times. He trusted it. The drive took 15 minutes. The dust from the crash was still settling when he arrived. He stopped the rover and looked at the ship. It was huge, much bigger than anything humans had built. The design was strange and beautiful, with smooth curves and sharp angles. Even damaged, it looked powerful. This was not a cargo ship or a scout. This was a warship. Tae-sung stepped out of the rover. His boots crunched on the lunar soil. He walked toward the ship slowly, his heart beating fast. A door opened in the side of the hull. Figures came out. They were tall, taller than humans, with pale blue skin and armor that shined in the starlight. They moved fast and surrounded him before he could react. They pointed weapons at his chest. Tae-sung raised his hands. "I'm not here to fight," he said. He did not know if they could understand him, but he hoped his voice sounded calm. The aliens did not lower their weapons. They spoke to each other in a language he did not know. It sounded sharp and quick. Then they stopped talking and stepped aside. Someone else came out of the ship. She was different from the others. She wore no armor, only robes that flowed like water. Her skin was the same pale blue, but her eyes were gold, bright and sharp. She walked with her head high, like someone who was used to being obeyed. Everything about her said power. She looked at Tae-sung for a long moment. He felt like she was seeing through him, reading him like a machine he could take apart and understand. "You are human," she said. Her voice was clear. She spoke his language. "Yes," Tae-sung said. "Why are you here?" "I saw your ship crash. I came to help." She tilted her head slightly. "Help? You do not know us. You do not know why we are here. Yet you came to help? Your ship is damaged. If you don't get it fixed, you'll die out here." The tall aliens looked at each other. One of them, an officer by the look of his armor, stepped forward and spoke to her in their language. He sounded angry. He pointed at Tae-sung several times. The woman raised her hand, and he went silent. "My captain says humans cannot be trusted," she said. "He says your kind is primitive and dangerous." Tae-sung kept his hands up. "Maybe, but I'm also a mechanic, and right now I'm the only one who can help you." She studied him again. Then, slowly, she smiled. It was a small smile, but it changed her face. She looked less like a queen and more like a person. "I am Valora," she said. "Empress of the Kirath Dominion." Tae-sung blinked. An empress. He had come to help, and he had found a queen. "I'm Park Tae-sung," he said. "I fix things." Valora's smile grew a little wider. "Then Park Tae-sung, I hope you are as good as you say, because my ship is dying, and if it dies, so do I." Tae-sung followed Empress Valora into her ship. The inside was as impressive as the outside. The walls glowed with soft light. The air smelled clean, almost sweet. Everything looked advanced, far beyond anything he had seen before. But he also saw the damage. Panels hung open with wires spilling out. Scorch marks covered the floors. Some of the lights flickered and died. The ship was beautiful, but it was also broken. Captain Doran walked behind them. He was the officer who had spoken against Tae-sung, and he still looked unhappy. His hand never left his weapon. He watched Tae-sung like a guard watching a prisoner. "The core chamber is this way," Valora said. She led him down a long hallway. They passed other Kirath crew members. Some were injured, holding bandages to their wounds. Others worked to repair damage, but their movements were slow and frustrated. They looked at Tae-sung with suspicion and confusion. A human on their ship was clearly something they had never expected. Valora stopped at a large door. It opened with a hiss, and they stepped inside. The core chamber was the heart of the ship. A massive cylinder stood in the center, reaching from floor to ceiling. It pulsed with blue light, but the light was weak and unsteady. Strange sounds came from inside it, clicks and groans that did not sound healthy. "This is our power core," Valora said. "It took damage during the attack. My engineers have tried to repair it, but they cannot. If it fails completely, we will have no power. Life support will stop, weapons will stop, we will be helpless." Tae-sung walked closer and studied the core. He did not understand the technology. It was far more advanced than anything humans had built. But he understood machines. He understood how things connected, how power flowed, how systems worked together. "What attacked you?" he asked. Valora's expression changed. Her gold eyes grew cold. "My own people," she said. "There is a faction in my empire that wants war. They believe we should conquer the weaker species around us. I refused. I believe in peace and trade. So they tried to kill me. Your own people tried to kill their empress? Power makes people do terrible things." Valora looked at the damaged core. I was traveling to meet my loyal fleet. They ambushed me before I could arrive. We fought, but they damaged our ship. We barely escaped. Tae-sung nodded slowly. Politics. Even aliens had politics. He did not care about empires or factions. He cared about the machine in front of him. He walked around the core, looking at it from every angle. He touched the panels, listened to the sounds, watched the flickering lights. Captain Doran followed him, still suspicious. "What do you see?" Valora asked. "The main power line is cracked," Tae-sung said. "Energy is leaking out. That's why your core is failing. It's not broken, it's bleeding." One of the Kirath engineers stepped forward. He was tall, like all of them, and he looked annoyed. "We know the power line is cracked," he said, "but we do not have the materials to fix it. The metal we need does not exist on this moon." "What metal do you need?" The engineer named a Kirath word that meant nothing to Tae-sung. "Describe it," Tae-sung said. "It is strong. It conducts energy without resistance. It can handle extreme heat." Tae-sung thought for a moment. "We might have something that works." The engineer laughed. It was not a kind laugh. "Human materials? Your technology is centuries behind ours. Nothing you have could possibly work on a Kirath power core." "Maybe not," Tae-sung said. "But I fixed a lot of machines with parts they weren't designed for. Sometimes the wrong part is the only part you have." Captain Doran stepped forward. "This is foolish. We should not trust this human. He will make things worse." "Or he will save our lives," Valora said. Her voice was calm but firm. "We have no other options, Captain. Our engineers have failed. Our enemies are coming. If this human can help, we will let him try." Doran looked like he wanted to argue, but he stayed silent. The Empress had spoken. Valora turned to Tae-sung. "What do you need?" "I need to go back to my station. We have salvage there, parts from old ships. I might find something that can patch your power line." "How long?" "A few hours to search. A few more to install it. Maybe 10 hours total." Valora nodded. "Then go. But hurry. My enemies are tracking us. They will find us soon." Tae-sung went back to the station. Jiwon was waiting for him in the control room, and he did not look happy. "You're helping them?" Jiwon said. "Do you know how dangerous this is? If their enemies come here, they'll destroy us too." "If I don't help them, they'll die," Tae-sung said. "And if their enemies find them dead, they might decide to destroy us anyway. At least this way, we have a chance." Ji-won shook his head. "This is a mistake." "Maybe, but it's my mistake to make." He went to the salvage bay. The room was full of junk from old ships, parts and pieces collected over years of work. Most of it was useless, but Tae-sung knew every item. He searched through the piles, looking for anything that might work. Yuna came to help him. "What are you looking for?" she asked. "Something that conducts energy and handles heat, strong, flexible." They searched together. Most of the salvage was too weak or too brittle. Then Yuna held up a piece of metal. "What about this? It's from an old fusion reactor, Korean design, about 20 years old." Tae-sung took it and examined it. The metal was smooth and heavy. It was designed to handle extreme temperatures and energy flow. It was not as advanced as Kirath materials, but it was solid. "This might work," he said. He took the metal back to the Kirath ship. The engineer looked at it and frowned. "This is crude. It will not last." "It doesn't need to last forever," Tae-sung said. "It just needs to last long enough for you to reach your fleet." He climbed into the core chamber and started working. The space was tight and hot. Sweat dripped down his face. The Kirath systems were strange, but he figured them out piece by piece. He cut the old power line, shaped the human metal to fit, and welded it into place. It took 8 hours. When he finished, he climbed out and looked at the core. The light was still weak. He held his breath. "Turn it on," he said. The engineer activated the core. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the light grew stronger. The clicks and groans stopped. The core hummed with steady power. The engineer stared at it. He looked at the human metal, then at Tae-sung. "It works," he said. He sounded surprised. Valora stepped forward. She was smiling. "It works," she repeated. "But for how long?" Tae-sung wiped the sweat from his face. "A few days, maybe a week. It's a temporary fix. You'll need proper repairs when you reach your fleet." "A few days is enough." Valora looked at him with those gold eyes. "You did what my own engineers could not. You saved my ship with primitive human metal." "It's not about the metal," Tae-sung said. "It's about knowing how to use it." Valora nodded slowly. "Yes, I am beginning to understand that." Captain Doran approached. His expression had changed. He still looked serious, but the suspicion was gone. "The human has proven himself," he said to the Empress. "I was wrong to doubt him." It was not an apology, but it was close enough. Valora turned back to Tae-sung. "Thank you, Park Tae-sung. But I must warn you. The repair is only the first step. My enemies are still coming, and they will not stop until I am dead." As if to prove her words, alarms began to sound throughout the ship. Yuna's voice came through the communication system from the station. "Tae-sung, we have a problem. Ships are approaching, 3 of them. They'll be here in 12 hours. 12 hours. The repair was done, but the danger was just beginning. The news hit everyone hard. 12 hours was not much time. The ship was repaired, but it was not ready for battle. The core was running on a temporary fix. The weapons systems were still damaged. If those 3 enemy ships arrived, Valora's ship would not survive a fight. Tae-sung stood in the control room of the Kirath ship with Valora, Captain Doran, and the senior officers. A holographic map floated in the air, showing their position on the moon and the approaching enemy ships. "Can we run?" Tae-sung asked. Doran shook his head. "Our engines are at half power. They would catch us before we reached safe space." "What about your loyal fleet? Can they get here in time?" "I have sent a message," Valora said. "But they are far away. They will not arrive for at least 15 hours. We must survive on our own until then." 15 hours. The enemy would be there in 12. That left 3 hours where they would be completely alone against 3 warships. "Can you fight them?" Tae-sung asked. Doran looked grim. "Our shields are weak. Our main weapons are offline. We have only secondary guns. Against 3 ships, we would last maybe 10 minutes." The room went quiet. Everyone understood what that meant. Tae-sung thought about the problem. 3 enemy ships. 1 damaged friendly ship. No help coming for hours. It seemed impossible. But impossible problems were the only kind worth solving. "What about my station?" he asked. Everyone looked at him. "Your station?" Doran said. "It is a salvage outpost. It has no weapons." "No military weapons," Tae-sung said. "But we have mining equipment. Lasers for cutting rock. They're powerful. Maybe powerful enough to hurt a ship." Doran frowned. "Mining lasers? Against warships? That is absurd." "Is it? A laser is a laser. It cuts rock, it can cut metal. The enemy won't expect it. They'll think the station is harmless." Valora leaned forward. Her gold eyes were bright with interest. "Tell me more," she said. Tae-sung explained. The station had 4 mining lasers mounted on the surface. They were designed to break apart asteroids and large rocks for salvage. They were not as strong as military weapons, but they were not weak either. If they could aim them at the enemy ships, they might do real damage. "It's a surprise attack," Tae-sung said. "They'll focus on your ship because they see it as the threat. They won't pay attention to a small human station. That's when we hit them." Doran still looked doubtful. "And what about the Empress's ship? We cannot just hide while you fight." "You don't hide. You draw their attention. Fly around. Make them chase you. Keep them busy while we line up our shots. Use ourselves as bait? Yes. The room was silent again. It was a risky plan. Everything had to go perfectly. If the enemy figured out what was happening, they would destroy the station in seconds. Valora stood up. I like it, she said. Doran turned to her. Your Majesty, this is very dangerous. If the plan fails, if we do nothing, we die anyway. Valora looked at Tae Sung. This human has already saved my ship with creativity and courage. I trust his plan. That ended the argument. Tae Sung went back to the station to prepare. He gathered Ji-won, Yuna, and the other crew members in the control room and explained the plan. Ji-won was not happy. You want us to fight alien warships with mining lasers? This is insane, Tae Sung. It's our only chance. If those ships destroy the Empress, they might destroy us too. We're witnesses. We know what happened. They won't leave us alive. Ji-won was quiet. He knew Tae Sung was right. Fine, he said. But if we die, I'm blaming you. Fair enough? They got to work. Tae Sung and the crew spent the next several hours preparing the mining lasers for combat. It was not easy. The lasers were designed to cut rock, not track moving ships. Tae Sung had to adjust the targeting systems, increase the power output, and reinforce the mounts so they could turn faster. Yuna helped him with the calculations. She figured out the angles they would need, the timing of the shots, the best way to hit a moving target. She was good with numbers, and Tae Sung was grateful for her help. While they worked, Valora came to the station. She walked through the small human outpost, looking at everything with curiosity. The station was tiny compared to her ship. The technology was old and simple, but she did not look down on it. She seemed genuinely interested. She found Tae Sung in the laser control room. Your people built all this? She asked. Yes, it's not much, but it works. It is impressive. She touched one of the control panels. On my world, we have great factories and machines, but we have forgotten how to build with our hands. Everything is automated. No one knows how things truly work. That sounds efficient. It is, but it is also a weakness. When something breaks, we do not know how to fix it. We wait for machines to fix other machines. She looked at him. You are different. You understand your tools. You can adapt. Tae Sung shrugged. I just like fixing things. It is more than that. It is a strength. Your people are young and small in the galaxy, but you have something valuable. You think differently. He did not know what to say to that. He had never thought of himself as special. He was just a mechanic on a forgotten station. But the way Valora looked at him made him feel like maybe he was more. They talked for a while longer. Valora told him about her empire, the thousands of worlds under her rule, the different species and cultures. Tae Sung told her about Earth, about humans, about their history of war and peace. She listened carefully. Your people fight each other often, she said. Yes, we always have. But you also help each other. That too. Sometimes the same people who fight also help. It's complicated. Valora smiled. It sounds very human. The hours passed. The preparations were finished. The mining lasers were ready. Valora's ship was powered up, engines running at maximum. Everyone was in position. Tae Sung sat in the laser control room with Yuna. The screens showed the space above them. Empty now, but not for long. Are you scared? Yuna asked. Yes. Me too. They waited. Then the enemy ships appeared. They came out of hyperspace in perfect formation, 3 warships, bigger and stronger than Valora's damaged vessel. They moved toward the moon with deadly purpose. A message came through the communication system, a harsh voice speaking in the Kirath language. Yuna ran it through the translator. Surrender, Valora. Your treason ends here. Come out and face justice, or we will destroy you and everyone with you. Valora's voice came back, calm and strong. I am the rightful empress of the Kirath Dominion. You are the traitors, not me. I will never surrender to murderers. The enemy ships opened fire. Valora's ship rose from the surface and began to fly. It moved fast, dodging and weaving between the enemy shots. The shields flashed as some hits got through, but the ship kept going. It was doing its job, drawing attention. Tae-sung watched the screens. The enemy ships were focused on Valora. They were ignoring the station. Perfect. Line them up, he said to Yuna. She worked the controls, adjusting the laser targeting. The first enemy ship moved into position. Ready, she said. Tae-sung put his hands on the firing controls. Now! He fired all 4 lasers at once. The beams shot across the black sky and hit the enemy ship. They cut through the armor like knives through paper. Fire erupted from the hull. The ship shook and started to fall. On the screens, Tae-sung saw the other 2 enemy ships turn toward the station. Their weapons powered up. They had noticed. Next target, Tae-sung said. His heart was pounding, but his hands were steady. The second ship was coming straight at them. The second enemy ship came at them fast. Its weapons were charging, ready to destroy the station. Tae-sung could see the glow of energy building on its hull. Yuna. Target locked? He asked. Almost. Now. Tae-sung fired. The mining lasers cut across space and hit the second ship. The beams struck the front section, slicing through metal and systems. Sparks flew. Smoke poured out. The ship veered off course, damaged but not destroyed. It's still moving, Yuna said. Hit it again. The lasers recharged and fired a second time. This time they hit the engines. The ship shook violently and began to spin. It was out of the fight. 2 down, 1 to go. But the third ship was smart. Its captain had seen what happened to the others. Instead of coming straight at the station, it stayed back and opened fire from a distance. Blasts hit the surface of the moon around the station. The ground shook. Rocks flew into the air. Warning lights flashed everywhere. Shields? Tae-sung asked. We don't have shields, Yuna said. We're a mining station, remember? Right. No shields. They were completely exposed. Another blast hit closer. The station rocked. Tae-sung grabbed his console to keep from falling. We need to take that ship down, he said. But it's too far for the lasers to do serious damage. Then we need to get it closer. How? Valora's voice came through the communication system. I have an idea. Her ship turned and flew straight at the third enemy vessel. It was a bold move, almost reckless. The enemy ship focused its fire on her, forgetting the station for a moment. Valora's ship took hits. Tae-sung saw the shields flash and flicker. She was taking damage, real damage, but she kept going, flying closer and closer to the enemy. What is she doing? Yuna asked. Being brave, Tae-sung said. The enemy ship turned to face Valora fully, its weapons pointed at her, ready to fire everything at once. That was when Tae-sung understood. She was not attacking. She was luring. The enemy ship was now facing away from the station. Its rear was exposed. Yuna, target the engines, now. Yuna locked on. Tae-sung fired. The lasers hit the third ship from behind. They cut into the engine section, tearing through armor and fuel lines. The ship shuddered. Explosions rippled across its hull. It tried to turn, tried to fight back, but it was too late. The damage was too great. The third ship started to fall toward the moon, trailing fire and smoke. Tae-sung let out a breath he did not know he was holding. Is it over? Yuna asked. Before he could answer, a message came through. It was Captain Doran. The enemy ships are disabled, but the third one is still sending a signal. They are calling for help. Reinforcements? Maybe. Or maybe they are reporting our position to others. Either way, we are not safe yet. Valora's ship flew back toward the station. It was damaged but still flying. Tae-sung could see scorch marks and holes in the hull. She had taken serious hits to give them the shot they needed. A few minutes later, Valora came into the station. She walked slowly, and Tae-sung could see she was tired. The battle had cost her. You took a big risk, he said. So did you, She smiled, but it was a weak smile. Your mining lasers worked. You destroyed 2 warships and crippled a 3rd. We got lucky. Luck is part of battle, but skill is more important. You have skill, Park Tae-sung. Ji-won came into the room. He looked shaken but relieved. I can't believe that worked, he said. I really can't believe it. Neither can I, Yuna said. But it did. They did not have time to celebrate. The enemy signal was still going out. More ships could come at any time. They needed to move. Valora gathered her officers and crew. The situation was better than before, but still dangerous. Her ship was flying, but it was hurt. The temporary repair on the power core was holding, but it would not last forever. And now they had made powerful enemies very angry. How long until your fleet arrives? Tae-sung asked. 3 hours, Valora said. If we can survive 3 more hours, we will be safe. 3 hours. It seemed like both a short time and a very long time. Tae-sung went back to the Kirath ship to check on the power core. He wanted to make sure his repair was still holding after the battle. The core chamber was hot and loud. The human metal he had installed was glowing from the strain, but it was not breaking. Not yet. The Kirath engineer was there, watching the core with nervous eyes. It's holding, Tae-sung said. For now, the engineer replied. But every minute puts more stress on it. Your metal is strong, but it was not made for this. I know. We just need 3 more hours. The engineer looked at him. His expression had changed since they first met. Before, he had been dismissive and arrogant. Now, there was respect. I owe you an apology, the engineer said. I said human technology was primitive. I said your methods were crude. I was wrong. What you did here with simple tools and salvage parts, my engineers could not do. You saved this ship. You saved the Empress. Tae-sung did not know what to say. He was not used to praise, especially not from aliens who had looked down on humans. I just did my job, he said. No, you did more than that. The engineer held out his hand in what Tae-sung recognized as a Kirath gesture of respect. When we return to our empire, I will tell everyone what you did. Humans deserve to be known for this. Tae-sung returned the gesture. It felt strange, but good. He went back to the station to wait. The next 3 hours were tense. Everyone watched the screens, looking for more enemy ships. The Kirath crew made repairs where they could. The human crew rested and ate and tried not to think about what would happen if help did not come. Valora spent some of that time with Tae-sung. They sat in the small kitchen of the station, drinking water and talking. What will you do when this is over? She asked. Go back to work, I guess. Fix machines, collect salvage, same as before. You could do more than that. You have talents that are wasted here. Maybe. But this is where I am. This is what I know. Valora was quiet for a moment. On my world, people are born into their roles. If you are born to lead, you lead. If you are born to serve, you serve. It is ordered, stable. That sounds limiting. It is. But it is also comfortable. You never have to wonder what you should be doing. You always know your place. She looked at him. Humans are different. You can be anything. You can change. That is frightening, but also beautiful. Tae-sung thought about that. He had never felt like he could be anything. He had always felt like just a mechanic. But maybe that was his own limit, not the world's. What will you do? He asked her. When you get back to your empire? Fight. The traitors are still out there. They still have ships and soldiers. I must take back control before they do more damage. Will you win? She smiled, but it was a sad smile. I don't know, but I must try. My people deserve peace. They deserve a leader who will protect them, not drag them into endless war. They sat together in silence. 2 people from different worlds, brought together by chance and crisis. Tae-sung felt something between them, a connection he had not expected. She was an empress, and he was a mechanic. But in that moment, they were just two people who understood each other. The 3 hours passed. Yuna's voice came over the speakers. "Ships incoming. Multiple contacts." Taesung's heart dropped. More enemies? But then Yuna spoke again, and her voice was different, relieved, happy. "They're Kirath, Imperial markings. It's the Empress's fleet." Valora stood up. For the first time since Taesung had met her, she looked truly happy. "They came," she said. "My people came." Through the station windows, they watched the sky fill with ships. Dozens of them, maybe hundreds. A fleet worthy of an empress. They surrounded the moon, creating a wall of protection that no enemy could break through. The battle was over. They had survived. The arrival of Valora's fleet changed everything. Where before there had been fear and danger, now there was safety and relief. The Kirath warships spread out around the moon, creating a protective barrier. Smaller ships flew down to the surface to check on the Empress and her crew. Taesung watched from the station as shuttles landed near the crashed ship. Kirath officers and soldiers came out, moving with discipline and purpose. They secured the area, checked the damaged enemy vessels, and began repairs on Valora's ship. Within an hour, the moon was busier than it had ever been. Aliens everywhere, advanced technology humming and glowing, orders being given in a language Taesung did not understand. It was overwhelming. Captain Doran came to the station. His attitude toward Taesung had changed completely since the battle. He was no longer suspicious or cold. He was respectful, almost friendly. "The Empress requests your presence," Doran said. "She wants to thank you properly, in front of her officers." Taesung felt uncomfortable. He did not want attention. He had just done what needed to be done, but he could not refuse an empress. He followed Doran to Valora's ship. The inside was now filled with Kirath from the fleet, officers and advisors and guards. They all looked at Taesung as he walked through. He was the only human there, small and plain compared to the tall blue aliens around him. Valora was in the main chamber, sitting in a chair that looked like a throne. She wore her robes again, looking every bit the empress she was. When she saw Taesung, she stood. "Park Taesung," she said. Her voice carried through the room. "Come forward." He walked toward her, feeling the eyes of everyone on him. His boots sounded loud on the metal floor. Valora waited until he was close, then she spoke. "This human saved my life. He repaired my ship when my own engineers could not. He turned a simple mining station into a weapon and destroyed enemy warships. He risked everything for someone he did not know, from a species he had never met. He is brave, clever, and resourceful. He represents the best of humanity." The Kirath officers looked at each other. Some seemed surprised, others nodded in agreement. Taesung's face felt hot. "The Kirath Dominion owes this man a debt," Valora continued. "I want everyone here to remember his name and what he did. When we return home, I want his story told. Humans are not primitives. They are not beneath us. They are worthy of respect." She turned to Taesung. "What reward do you want? Name anything, and I will give it to you." Taesung thought about it. He could ask for money, technology, a better job. But none of that felt right. "I don't need a reward," he said. "I just wanted to help." There were murmurs among the officers. Apparently, refusing a reward from an empress was unusual. Valora smiled. "You are a strange man, Park Taesung, but I will not force you. If you change your mind, the offer remains." She stepped down from her chair and walked closer to him. Her voice became quieter, meant only for him. "My ship will be fully repaired soon. I must return to my empire and deal with the traitors. There will be more fighting ahead. Will you be okay?" "I do not know, but I am stronger now. I have my fleet. I have loyal officers." She paused. "And I have a new understanding of humans. That will help me more than you know." "How?" The galaxy has many species. Most of them look down on humans. They think your people are young and weak. I thought the same. But now I know better. Humans are different. You think in ways we do not. You solve problems we cannot. That makes you valuable. Tae-sung was not sure he agreed, but he did not argue. There will come a day when my empire needs allies, Valora said. When that day comes, I want humanity to stand with us. I want to build a friendship between our peoples. Trade, cooperation, sharing of knowledge. That's a big idea. Yes, but big ideas change the galaxy, and it starts with small moments, like this one. She looked into his eyes. Tae-sung felt that connection again, the strange feeling that they understood each other despite being so different. I wish I could stay longer, Valora said. I wish we had more time. But you have to go. Yes, my people need me. The traitors are regrouping. If I do not act fast, they will try again. Tae-sung nodded. He understood duty. He understood responsibility. Will I see you again? He asked. Valora was quiet for a moment. Then she reached out and took his hand. Her skin was cool and smooth, different from human skin. I do not know what the future holds, she said, but I know I will not forget you. And I know that what happened here matters. You changed things, Park Tae-sung. You changed me. They stood there together, holding hands, while the Kirith officers watched and the fleet waited. It was a strange moment, an empress and a mechanic, but it felt right. Then Valora let go. I must speak with my admirals now, she said. There is much to plan. But before I leave this moon, I will see you again. Tae-sung went back to the station. The next few hours were busy. The Karath engineers came to finish the repairs on Valora's ship. They replaced the human metal patch with proper Karath materials, making the power core as good as new. They also fixed the weapons, the shields, and the engines. When they were done, the ship looked brand new. The Karath also gave gifts to the station crew. Advanced tools, better equipment, medical supplies. Ji-won accepted them with thanks, but also with nervousness. He was still not comfortable with aliens, even friendly ones. Yuna was excited. She spent hours talking to the Kirath communication officers, learning about their systems and technology. She had never seen anything so advanced. This is amazing, she told Tae-sung. Do you know what we could do with this knowledge? We could improve everything. Communications, navigation, power systems. This could change human technology forever. Maybe that's the point, Tae-sung said. As the hours passed, Tae-sung felt a strange sadness growing in him. The crisis was over. The Empress was safe. Soon she would leave, and everything would go back to normal. He would be a mechanic on a forgotten moon again. The adventure would end. But maybe that was okay. Maybe normal was not so bad. He was in his quarters when Doran came to find him again. The Empress is preparing to leave, Doran said. She asked for you. Tae-sung followed him outside. Valora's ship stood ready on the surface, fully repaired and powered. The rest of the fleet waited in orbit, ready to escort her home. Valora was standing near the ship with her senior officers. When she saw Tae-sung, she dismissed them with a wave. They walked away, leaving the two of them alone. This is goodbye, Valora said. I know. She stepped closer. Her gold eyes were soft, almost sad. Thank you, Park Tae-sung, for everything. You gave me more than you know. I just fixed your ship. You did more than that. You showed me what humans can be. You gave me hope for the future. She reached up and touched his face. Her hand was gentle and warm despite being cool. Then she leaned forward and kissed him. It was soft and brief, her lips barely touching his. A Kirath gesture, he realized. Something important, something meaningful. When she pulled back, she was smiling. That is a promise, she said. In my culture, it means I will not forget you. It means there is a bond between us. What kind of bond? That depends on us, on what we choose. She stepped back. I must go now. My empire is waiting. But this is not the end, Tae-sung. It is the beginning. She turned and walked toward her ship. At the door, she stopped and looked back. I'll come back for you, she said. Then she was gone, disappearing inside the ship. The door closed. The engines powered up. The great vessel rose from the surface and flew into the sky, joining the fleet above. Tae-sung watched until he could not see them anymore. The fleet moved away, then vanished into hyperspace. The moon was quiet again. He stood there for a long time, looking at the stars, thinking about everything that had happened. An empress had kissed him. She had promised to return. It seemed impossible, like something from a story. But it was real. It had happened. And somewhere deep inside, Tae-sung believed her. Life on Lunar Salvage Station 7 returned to normal. Tae-sung fixed machines. He sorted through space junk. He ate his meals and slept his nights and watched the stars through the small windows. Everything was the same as before. But he was different. The adventure with Valora had changed him. He thought about it every day. He remembered her golden eyes, her calm voice, the kiss she had given him. He remembered her promise, I'll come back for you. Part of him believed it. Part of him did not. She was an empress with an empire to run, enemies to fight, a galaxy to protect. Why would she come back to a forgotten moon for a simple mechanic? But he hoped. He could not stop hoping. The other crew members noticed the change in him. Yuna said he seemed distracted. Jiwon said he stared at the sky too much. They were right. He was waiting for something he was not sure would ever come. News came from Earth sometimes, reports about the Kirath Dominion. The Civil War was still going on. Valora's forces were fighting the traitors across many star systems. There were victories and defeats. It was impossible to know how it would end. Tae-sung followed every report. He looked for any mention of the Empress. Sometimes there was news of her. A battle she had won, a speech she had given, a planet she had freed. She was alive. She was fighting. That was enough for now. He wondered if she thought about him. He wondered if she remembered the human who had fixed her ship with salvage parts. Probably not. She had an empire to save. She did not have time to think about him. But still, he hoped. One night, Yuna came to find him in the repair bay. She looked excited. "You need to see this," she said. He followed her to the control room. On the main screen was a news report from Earth. The reporter was talking about a major development in the Kirath Civil War. "Empress Valora has defeated the traitor faction," the reporter said. "After months of fighting, her forces have captured the rebel leaders and secured all contested systems. The Civil War is over. The Kirath Dominion is at peace." Tae-sung stared at the screen. She had won. Valora had won. The report continued. In her victory speech, Empress Valora spoke of gratitude to unexpected allies. She mentioned humanity specifically, saying that a human helped her in her darkest hour and showed her the value of your species. She called for closer relations between the Kirath Dominion and Earth. Yuna turned to Tae-sung with wide eyes. "She was talking about you," Yuna said. "She mentioned you in front of everyone." Tae-sung did not know what to say. He had not expected that. He had not expected to be mentioned at all. Ji-won came into the room. He had heard the report, too. "Well," he said, "I guess you're famous now." Over the next few days, more news came. Humans were excited about the Empress's words. Governments wanted to know more. Scientists wanted to study Kirath technology. Business people wanted to trade. Everyone was talking about the possibility of a real friendship between humans and the Kirath. And everyone wanted to know who the human was, the one who had helped the Empress. Tae-sung stayed quiet. He did not want attention. He did not want to be famous. He just wanted to do his job and live his life. But the universe had other plans. 2 weeks later, Yuna picked up a strange signal on her screens. "Tae-sung," she called. "You should come here." He went to the control room. Yuna pointed at her screen. There was a ship approaching the moon, not a human ship, a Kirath ship. "It's sending a message," Yuna said. "For you." She played the message. The voice was familiar. It was Captain Doran. "Park Tae-sung, this is Captain Doran of the Kirath Imperial Guard. I am escorting a very important person who wishes to see you. Please prepare for our arrival." Tae-sung's heart beat faster. "A very important person?" Yuna said. "Do you think—" "Yes," Tae-sung said. "I think." He went outside to wait. The Kirath ship descended from the sky and landed on the surface. It was smaller than Valora's warship, a personal transport, elegant and fast. The door opened and Captain Doran stepped out. Behind him came Valora. She looked different from the last time he had seen her. Her robes were finer, her posture more relaxed. The stress and worry were gone from her face. She looked like someone who had won a great battle and could finally rest. She saw Tae-sung and smiled. "Hello, Park Tae-sung," she said. "Hello, Your Majesty. Please, call me Valora. I think we are past formalities." She walked toward him. Doran and the other guards stayed back, giving them space. "I heard the news," Tae-sung said. "You won. The war is over." "Yes. It was long and hard, but we won. The traitors are in prison. My empire is at peace. I'm glad." She stopped in front of him. Her golden eyes were bright, happy. "I told you I would come back," she said. "I wasn't sure you would." "I know. You thought I would forget, but I did not." "I could not?" She reached out and took his hand, just like before. "You were with me through the whole war, Tae-sung. Every battle, every decision, I thought of you. I thought of what you taught me." "I didn't teach you anything. You taught me more than you know. You taught me that strength comes in many forms, that small things can change big things, that courage is not about power. It is about choice." She squeezed his hand. "You chose to help me when you did not have to. That choice changed everything." Tae-sung felt his face grow warm. He was not used to this. He was not used to being important. "What happens now?" he asked. "Now, I build the future. I want peace with the other species. I want trade and cooperation. I want the Kirath to be partners, not conquerors." She paused. "And I want humanity to be part of that. We're a small species. We're not advanced like you. That does not matter. You have something we do not. You have creativity, adaptability, heart. The galaxy needs that." She looked at him seriously. "And I need you, Tae-sung." "Me?" "I am building a council of advisors from different species, people who can help me see things in new ways. I want you to be part of it." Tae-sung blinked. "You want me to leave the station? To go to your empire?" "Yes. I want you to come with me, to help me lead, to be by my side." It was more than he had ever imagined, more than he had ever dreamed. An empress was asking him to leave everything he knew and join her across the stars. "I'm just a mechanic," he said. "No." Valora shook her head. "You are the human who saved my life. You are the man who changed how I see the universe. You are not just a mechanic. You are something special." She stepped closer, still holding his hand. "Come with me, Tae-sung. Let's build the future together." He looked at her. He looked at the stars above. He thought about his life on the station, the quiet days, the lonely nights. He thought about what he wanted, what he truly wanted. And he made his choice. "Yes," he said. "I'll come with you." Valora smiled. It was the brightest smile he had ever seen. "Then we should go," she said. There is much to do. She turned and walked toward her ship. Tae-sung followed. At the door, he stopped and looked back at the station. His home for so many years. Ji-won and Yuna were standing outside, watching him. He waved. They waved back. Then he stepped into the ship, and the door closed behind him. A new life was beginning. Tae-sung spent most of that time looking out the windows. Hyperspace was beautiful, a blur of light and color that seemed to go on forever. He had never traveled this way before. He had never been off the moon except for short trips to Earth. Now he was crossing the galaxy to a world he had never seen. Valora stayed with him often. She explained where they were going, what he would see, what to expect. The Kirath homeworld was called Vareth Prime. It was the center of the Empire, a planet of great cities, ancient temples, and billions of people. Tae-sung would be the first human to set foot there. "Are you nervous?" she asked. "Yes," he admitted. "Good. That means you understand how important this is." She told him about her plans. She wanted to create an alliance of species, a council where different worlds could work together. Trade, technology, knowledge, all shared for the benefit of everyone. No more conquest, no more war. A new era for the galaxy. "It will not be easy," she said. "Many in my empire do not trust outsiders. They think we should rule alone. But I will change their minds. I will show them a better way. And you think I can help with that? I know you can. You are proof of what I believe. A human who helped an alien empress with nothing to gain. That story matters. It shows that trust between species is possible." Tae-sung was still not sure he was the right person for this. He was a mechanic. He fixed machines. What did he know about politics and alliances and changing the galaxy? But Valora believed in him, and somehow that was enough. They arrived at Vareth Prime on the 6th day. The planet was green and blue, with great oceans and mountain ranges and forests that stretched for thousands of kilometers. Cities rose from the landscape like towers of light, beautiful and enormous. Spaceships flew in and out constantly, streams of traffic that never stopped. Valora's ship descended toward the capital city. It was the largest city Tae-sung had ever seen, bigger than any human city, bigger than he could have imagined. Buildings reached into the clouds, bridges connected them at every level. The whole place glowed with energy and life. They landed at the Imperial Palace. It was not just a building, it was a complex, a series of structures that covered an entire district. Guards stood at every entrance. Officials moved through the halls with important business. Everything was grand and formal. Tae-sung felt very small. Valora took him inside. She introduced him to her advisors, her generals, her ministers. They looked at him with curiosity and suspicion. A human in the imperial palace was strange to them. Some were polite, some were cold. But Valora made it clear that he was to be treated with respect. "This is Park Tae-sung," she said to them. "He saved my life. He will be part of my council. Treat him as you would treat me." That silenced any objections. The first few weeks were hard. Tae-sung had to learn everything: Kirath customs, politics, history, language. He studied for hours every day. He made mistakes. He said the wrong things, did the wrong things. But he kept trying. Valora helped him. She was patient and kind. She explained things he did not understand. She defended him when others criticized. She never made him feel stupid or out of place. "You are doing well," she told him. "Better than you think." Slowly, things got easier. Tae-sung began to understand how things worked. He attended council meetings and listened to debates. He offered his opinions when asked. At first, no one cared what he thought. But over time, they started to listen. He saw problems differently than they did. He came up with solutions they had not considered. His human way of thinking, creative and practical, was useful. People began to respect him for it. One day there was a crisis. A Kirath colony on a distant planet was losing power. Their main reactor was failing, and no one knew how to fix it. The engineers said it was impossible. Valora asked Tae-sung what he thought. He looked at the reports. He studied the schematics. The problem was complex, but it was also familiar. He had seen something like it before. "I can fix it," he said. They sent him to the colony. He worked for 3 days without sleep. He used parts that were not meant for Kirath systems. He adapted, improvised, figured things out. It was just like fixing Valora's ship on the moon. When he was done, the reactor worked perfectly. News of what he had done spread across the Empire. The human who had saved the colony. The human who fixed the impossible. People who had doubted him before now saw him differently. He was not just an outsider anymore. He was someone who belonged. 6 months after he arrived on Vareth Prime, Valora asked him to walk with her in the palace gardens. The gardens were beautiful, filled with plants from 100 worlds. It was evening, and the sky was full of stars. "I want to thank you," Valora said. "For what?" "For everything. For coming here. For staying. For helping me build something better." She stopped walking and faced him. "When I met you on that moon, I was running for my life. My empire was falling apart. I did not know if I would survive. And then you appeared. A human mechanic with grease on his hands. You saved me, Tae-sung. Not just my life, but my hope. You saved yourself. You won the war. You united your people. I could not have done it without you, without what you showed me." She took his hands in hers. "You showed me that the smallest person can do the greatest things. That strength is not about power. It is about heart. I will never forget that." Tae-sung looked at her, the empress who had kissed him and promised to return. She had kept that promise. She had given him a new life, a new purpose. He owed her everything. "I don't know what to say," he said. "Then don't say anything." She leaned forward and kissed him again. This time it was longer, deeper. Not just a promise, something more. When she pulled back, she was smiling. "Stay with me," she said. "Not just as an advisor. Stay with me." He knew what she was asking. It was more than work. It was life, partnership, maybe love. "Are you sure?" he asked. "I'm human. Your people might not accept it." "Let me worry about that. I am the Empress. I decide who I stand beside." She held his hands tighter. "I choose you, Park Tae-sung. I have chosen you since the moment you walked onto my broken ship and said you could fix it." Tae-sung thought about everything that had led him here. The lonely station on the moon, the crash, the repair, the battle. All the moments that had brought him to this place, to this woman, to this question. He had never believed he could be anything more than a mechanic. But Valora saw more. She always had. "Yes," he said, "I'll stay." Valora smiled again, that bright, beautiful smile. "Then we have much to do," she said. "We have a galaxy to change." They walked back to the palace together, hand in hand. Tae-sung looked up at the stars. Somewhere out there was the moon where he used to live. A small place, forgotten by most. But it was where everything had started. It was where he had met an empress and changed his life. He smiled. He was a long way from home, but he was exactly where he was meant to be.